golden age of Jujutsu sorcery, Sukuna was the icon of strength, with every sorcerer attempting to fight him and take his title, King of Curses. To put in perspective, while Toji Fushiguro, Mahito, Suguru Geto, and Tengen have all made their stakes as different secondary antagonists of the series, Sukuna is the biggest threat of all and the primary source of conflict, whether it be directly or because of those in search of acquiring his fingers. He was so powerful that when he died, his body was split into 20 indestructible fingers. His fingers act as cursed objects that, once ingested, will give Sukuna the opportunity to reincarnate. Having 4 arms, it isn't just Sukuna's domain expansion that you have to worry about. Although Malevolent Shrine rivals even Satoru Gojo's domain expansion, it's also his skill in physical, hand-to-hand combat. Even when weakened in Yuji's body and unable to access the entirety of his cursed energy, Sukuna is capable of great feats of strength as something just beyond a special grade. Like the rest of the cast of characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, Sukuna also has extreme durability, reflexes, and speed that make him formidable at all times. His innate technique is currently unknown, but he is able to turn his cursed energy into slashing attacks known as the Dismantle and Cleave that cut enemies down in one hit. Like we see in Jujutsu Kaisen episode 39 with the twins, Nanako and Mimiko. He also has the ability to manipulate flames, but those powers aren't as on display as the rest. Additionally, Sukuna also has reverse cursed technique in order to heal his body. Then, of course, there is Malevolent Shrine, his domain expansion that is terrifying. Unlike domain expansions of other characters, Sukuna does not create a separate space for him and his opponent to inhabit with a barrier. Instead, his shrine decimates the landscape. While the guaranteed hit's effectiveness and maximum radius grows once a binding vow is entered by allowing an escape route, there is truly no escape from his power. One of the biggest incidents happened recently in the form of Sukuna forcefully escaping from the confinement of Yuji Itadori's body, and attempting to take over Megumi Fushiguro's body. And the way he goes about doing it is not only ruthless, but it is actually downright cruel. Since then, although Sukuna's identity, consciousness, and parts of his powers has basically reincarnated into the modern world, he is still stuck inside Yuji's body. So for all intent and purpose, Ryomen Sukuna is sealed within Yuji Itadori's body with an unbreakable binding vow that prevents him from escaping. There are some random moments when he can somehow take over Yuji's body for a moment, but for the most part, there's really nothing he can do as long as he is still caged within Yuji's body. That is until Sukuna makes an offer that Yuji can't refuse. According to this secret deal that Yuji can't even remember, when Sukuna chants the word "Enchain," he will be able to fully take over Yuji's body for 1 minute, although he can't hurt anybody during the takeover. And that is basically what Sukuna did in recent chapters. When Yuji, Megumi, Angel, and Megumi's sister, Sumiki Fushiguro, are in the middle of executing their plan to save Sumiki, Sukuna appears and executes the plan that he has been plotting all this time. Sukuna has been wanting to get out of Yuji's body the minute he realizes that he has been reincarnated into what is basically a cage. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the power nor the means to escape because of the binding vow. Not only that, even if he decided to get out, he still needs a new vessel. So based on what he's observed thus far, Megumi Fushiguro and his Zenin blood and prized 10 shadow techniques would be a suitable vessel for Sukuna. So begins his preparation to break free from Yuji's body as he waits for his powers to return. As mentioned earlier, Sukuna divided his powers to the curse objects known as 20 indestructible fingers. Since Sukuna is sealed within Yuji's body, it means he has to wait for Yuji to ingest more of those fingers in order to regain access to his lost powers. Because without it, there's really no point in trying to get out of his cage. As the story progresses, Yuji does end up consuming more fingers, either voluntarily or not. When the culling game finally nears its climactic point, Sukuna finally has enough power to execute his great escape. On that fateful day, Sukuna chants the word "in chain," takes over Yuji's body, and forcefully cuts his little finger. Realizing that Yuji has lost control over Sukuna, Megumi immediately prepares to attack. Unfortunately, Sukuna manages to close the distance and prevent Megumi from executing his ability. Not only that, Sukuna also shoves Yuji's bloodied finger into Megumi's throat. Since Sukuna is currently in control of Yuji's body, that finger is the same as Sukuna's finger. That means in a matter of seconds, Sukuna manages to break the binding vow that he had with Yuji, escape his cage, and transfer to a new vessel, which is the body of Megumi Fushiguro.